Hello ladies and gents, welcome to GBXN. Okay, I was kind of looking for this video yesterday from Max. I was surprised that he didn't make the video, but I'm guessing the news came out late enough that he already made the video. So I'm glad now he made the video. Okay, US military the title change I think when I first saw it, but yeah, it's basically US military respond to Iran claiming that they shot down American MQ-1 drone. Now, is there some truth to it? Maybe they did shot it. I mean, it's not that hard to shoot down drones. So did they actually shot down a drone? Because things are still happening right now. I'm pretty sure US seized or attacked an Iranian ship that was, like breaking the blockade. Right now, blockade is in full effect. It's slowly choking the economy of Iran. People are like, oh, what happened? No deal is happening. Trump didn't do anything. So I guess it was all for a show. Calm down, would you? Things doesn't move that fast. Warfare is not that fast, especially if it's slowed blockade type of thing. It takes time. So blockade is in still effect. Who knows what they're planning? And apparently Iran is shooting down US drones. Is this ramping up or is this just business as usual? I don't know. But it's going to be interesting to see what happened. Let's watch this one.
June 1st, 2026, welcome to the video. Somewhere over the Strait of Hormuz this past weekend, an American drone was doing its job, flying in international airspace unarmed, surveilling the most strategically critical choke point on Earth, that 21 nautical mile waterway that 20% of the world's oil passes through. That place we know and love, the Strait of Hormuz.
Come on, man. Don't look, man. USA destroyed a lot of Iranian things. You can't really just say like drone was doing nothing wrong in this. No, whether he was doing nothing wrong or not, if Iran can shoot it down, they would shoot it down. Things are happening. Like there's a friction, obviously. So that makes sense. But how the hell did they detect it and destroyed it? Right? They're getting intel is what I'm saying. Because small drones like this, you need certain level of intel in order to like find it, destroy it. You need to like know like where to look.
Iran shot down an MQ-1 or an MQ-9 drone. Did. Not an accident, not a miscalculation.
So it is confirmed. It's not like maybe they are claiming it. No, it's confirmed.
A deliberate act by the IRGC Aerospace Force against U.S. military assets operating in international waterways as these negotiations kind of go on and on and on. Peace negotiations were actively underway at the time that the drone was shot down. It looks like the Trump administration sent a courier literally in transit carrying a revised ceasefire proposal to Khamenei's underground compound. Weird. That would just be a wild place at this point right now. And then as that's happening, Iran shoots down this drone, showing this footage right here. So you can see them tracking the drone with what looks like an electro-optical sensor. This is them actually trying to zero in, and then you can see the weapon actually hit. But here's what happens next. Within hours, not days, not after a press conference, not after a whole bunch of phone calls, US fighter jets were overhead, and when the smoke cleared, Qasem Island's radar network was completely gone. The drone command and control node at Garak, basically the brain of Iran's entire surveillance operation over the Strait of Hormuz, gone. And when you look at these islands, you can see there are a lot of different places where the IRGC puts radio towers to try to track merchant vessels, to control their drones, potentially even to control unmanned underwater vehicles, which the IRGC has claimed that they are unleashing in the Strait of Hormuz right now. 2 Iranian one-way attack drones were already locked onto as well. So not only striking sites on...
I don't get it. Okay, why did you destroy these things now? And why didn't you do that before? Did these radar systems detected the drone? So you use Growler to take it out? Because in order to detect it, like it needs to like also emit it. So that's how Growler detected. That makes sense. Right? Or is this less like a response to like destroying the drone? Because if you obviously you know where these things are, it's America. Why did you decide to destroy it now and not before? And how many sites like this exist where you're like, okay, fine, we'll let them have it? Like, what is the strategy there? I don't know.
On the actual islands themselves, but taking out one-way attack drones was on the menu for the F-15Es, the F-18s, the F-35s, the different fighter jets that were a part of this mission. But there's a guy that she told you not to worry about, and that is the EA-18G Growler, one of the most capable electronic attack aircraft on Earth. This is a two-seat electronic warfare jet, and this likely had a lot to do with how these radar sites were taken down, because they basically gobble up those exact radar and radio emissions that those sites are putting out and basically track a weapon right down the beam. Yeah, you're going to want to say over extremely fast after you transmit something on those different towers, because the EA-18G is that persistent.
So that is how it happened. So in order to destroy this drone, they use these radar systems, and Growler's like, oh, got one. It literally has system to seek these things out and keep hunting it automatically, basically. Once you launch it, it will know GPS location of it, and if it's stupid enough to like on the radar system again, it will just chase it down.
Distant eye in the sky that would be watching, waiting, and ready to crush any signals that were being emitted from those different radio towers. Then, as if to prove that they're still here and they're not completely decimated yet, the IRGC did what they do best. They fired 2 ballistic missiles at American forces in Kuwait. Both of them were intercepted, 0 casualties on this one, but we know there's been some of them that have hit these bases. One of them just hit a base in Kuwait a couple days ago, supposedly injuring 5 service members. CENTCOM posted a confirmation on the internet of this entire breakdown that just happened over the last 40.
Why'd they send 2 ballistic missiles? Just 2? Wouldn't you need to send more to overwhelm the system? I guess the reports are right. They don't have much launchers or missiles left to waste like that.
8 hours, and confirmed that the U.S. crushed command and control sites. Command and control just means the way that the military talks to each other, especially IRGC. The IRGC has specialized naval units that are doing what they do best right now, making sure that they still have the ability to cause chaos in the region with their drones, unmanned underwater vehicles, and obviously their fast attack craft. But the jet that made most of this possible is kind of like that unsung hero in the background that's just watching, waiting, doesn't get all the press, but it changes the game. And then stay about 3/4 of the way through the video for the roundup section. We're going to talk about the Golden Dome, and we're going to talk about some very spicy developments in China and the Taiwan Straits. So Saturday and Sunday, this past weekend, today's June 1st, Iran's IRGC Aerospace Force engaged and are said to have brought down an MQ-1 Predator drone that was operating over international waters in the Gulf region. Over international waters, doing drone surveillance, and international waters are outside of 13.8 miles from the border of Iran. Even though Iran's claiming 20 miles, they're like, mine, 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 like that annoying dog peeing on every single fire hydrant in the neighborhood. You're like, really, dude? You can't own a fire hydrant. Just like, hey, Iran, you can't necessarily own 20 miles off your coastline just because you say you do, and you want to extort the entire world. That's not exactly how it works. And so now we've got an administration with a backbone.
You can do that, but you need military to back that up. Yeah, only way world would acknowledge that is if you have the military to back it up, which it's not even close. Something like USA, if USA says like, yeah, okay, screw you, 30 miles from like my coastline is mine. Yeah, nobody's gonna say no to that, because what you gonna do? So at the end of the day, in the global stage, people need to figure it out. International law, not law. People always act like there's some central figure that you look up to. Yeah, that's not fair. There is no central figure. In the end of the day, who has power? That will dictate things.
That's coming in and holding them accountable. So CENTCOM didn't pick up the phone and call Tehran, hey, please don't shoot down our drone. They didn't send a strongly worded statement. They didn't make a Lego video. The CENTCOM post on X tells you everything you need to know. The measured and deliberate strikes occurred on Saturday and Sunday in response to aggressive Iranian actions that included the shoot down of a U.S. MQ-1 drone that was operating over international waters. U.S. fighter aircraft swiftly responded by eliminating Iranian air defenses, a ground control station, and 2 one-way attack drones that posed clear threats to ships transiting regional waters. No American service members were harmed. Iran's statement was to immediately launch those 2 ballistic missiles at American forces in Kuwait, as they do. CENTCOM confirmed Sunday night that both of those were intercepted with 0 casualties as well. So at this point, CENTCOM's X account is doing more damage to the IRGC's credibility than really any bomb can. But the bombs don't hurt when you're taking down their tactical control network. But here's the layer that makes this whole thing a little bit stranger. The same weekend this is all happening.
There is no reputational damage in the modern time. People BS all the time. There are real people with a significant number who point blank believes whatever IRGC will tell them. Oh, we destroyed the aircraft carrier. Oh, we destroyed multiple F-35s. We destroyed a lot of drones. We are fighting equally to America and even like more than that. And people are like, yeah, finally somebody's showing those bullies. Somebody's showing America. No, man, that's not happening. What are you even talking about? Nobody's going to check that and confirm it, will they? So they're just like, okay, we're just going to BS it. And people will believe it. That's the social media world now. That's effed up. And, like this fake news this and fake news that, they've created this kind of an environment. Then even if you talk facts in that has a real backing it, like which sources are saying it, or this source is saying it, this like military satellite image is confirmed by actual like people who have the satellite. If you have all these things, none of that matters. No, everything's fake news. I don't believe that. I believe this, and I can choose this. What is real? I can choose what is real. That's the world we live in now. There are real people who just like, I don't believe, I believe Iran. Fair enough. In the end of the day, result matters, right? In the end of the day, it will matter who wins or not. And by that point, you can't really claim anything. Clearly, you lost. And let's be honest, between USA and Iran, doesn't matter what happens. Doesn't matter even if USA fumbles this badly. USA is just going to win by default because that's the gap between two countries.
Happening, President Trump has dispatched a courier carrying revised MOU, Memorandum of Understanding for you acronym lovers. Those are terms for an extended 60-day ceasefire. Physically, they're getting that memo supposedly to Mojave Khomeini's underground compound. What a wild situation that is. This guy probably hasn't seen sunlight in a couple months at this point. The courier had not returned.
How do you do business with somebody and send them a letter to a location? Only reason that location exists is because that person is afraid of you and they're hiding it. You didn't send the memo in some house. No, you sent it in underground bunker. Why is the guy's underground bunker? Because he's afraid you're going to bomb him. This is like a very weird situation, isn't it?
Strikes happened and both sides pulled the trigger before the envelope was opened. And then, breaking this morning, Iran International is reporting that Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian has submitted a resignation letter to the Supreme Leader's office. So there's some wild things going on behind the scenes. Man. When I look at this, I think there's more.
This is big. See, this is what I've been saying. Like, there is a real friction between IRGC, and to me, it feels like a very diplomatic area, which is like president, like speaker and all that, like people like foreign minister and all these people who says things in like Twitter and things. Remember that thing? We don't care what an idiot on Twitter said. We are only going to listen to our supreme leader. That kind of thing. There's real friction there. So I guess the president is just finally like, you know what, screw it, I'm done. Like, if I have no respect and literally people below me, he's not going to listen to me and they're just going to claim that we only listen to Supreme Leader. What's the point of having me? I resign.
More than meets the eye here with the inner rumblings of the actual regime itself. According to the report, Pezeshkian says hardline IRGC factions have completely taken over major government decisions.
Okay, how right am I? At this point, I can just predict shit.
Sidelining the civilian government entirely. So that's very interesting, right? This is something that we thought might happen. Iran state media is saying that this is false. Obviously, they're going to deny, tap along, try to create misinformation. But here's the thing. If there's even a thread of truth to this, the people that the U.S. is negotiating a ceasefire with may not control the people who are actually pulling the triggers, which would make sense.
Because how many times have I said that? Like for weeks now. How do you do a deal with somebody where somebody else would just say like, we don't agree with that deal because you did with somebody we don't agree with? If you make deal with IRGC and Supreme Leader, like other people might be like, oh, that's okay, that's not our Supreme Leader or something. If you do with President or something like that, this is official. They're like, oh, that's not Supreme Leader. Even if you do a deal with a guy below Supreme Leader, they just say you didn't do it specifically Supreme Leader, so it doesn't count. How do you make a deal? This is insane.
Because we're seeing these hardline IRGC factions just do what they do. It looks like they no longer have the same connection they did to the civilian leadership, and especially to the inner circle of the mullahs and the Ayatollah, where they see a window where the IRGC hardliners can actually seize control, creating fractures within Iran's government. Iran's president's like, I'm resigning IRGC because you won't let me govern. And then the IRGC is like, yeah, come a little closer and stand on this red X right here. And they have like a big red button. They're just ready to hit it. And the president just falls to the floor, Dr. Evil style.
Applications due to the reanimation process.
Silence!
But now let's talk about the
What the hell was that? That was some parody movie, all right. Would that happen though? Would that really happen? Would you hear about accident in the future? I think that would be too high of a profile for them to make somebody disappear. They wouldn't do that, right? Former president, if he resigns, he would be former president. They wouldn't do that. I don't know. That would be insane if that happens.
IRGC general who's basically ordering all of this behind the scenes, because remember, our boy Sun Tzu, know your enemy, know yourself. IRGC Aerospace Force Commander Brigadier General Amir Ali Hakazeh, this is the man who claimed credit for downing the drone on Iranian state television and personally ordered the ballistic missile response into Kuwait. He told state TV this weekend, and this is a direct quote, the IRGC reserves the legitimate and definite right to retaliate against any ceasefire violation by the US, even though they shot down the drone and now they're saying it was us. Again, I just feel like this is a bad X every time I hear any statements from the IRGC. And then Iran's response, shooting those ballistic missiles, is just showing an act of desperation, in my opinion. And here's Iran's structural problem, and it seems to be a fatal one to me. Qasem Island is their eyes over the Strait of Hormuz. Those radar and C2 nodes are the nervous system of the IRGC's entire drone interdiction network. So without them, they can't track US ships, they can't coordinate attacks on commercial shipping, they can't see anything. At least they would have to move to some backup systems that aren't going to be as reliable.
Now hold up there. So this is the only place to do it? Why didn't you blow it up? If it's just like this is the Achilles heel, like, I don't know.
And that's the fatal flaw and the crack in the IRGC's plan in the Strait of Hormuz. Again, could we have struck this down on day one, please? Can we get a menu that just basically starts with all the different radar and radio towers from the IRGC? That would be great.
See, even he's saying it. So it's like, don't get angry at me. Like, even he's saying it. Like, why didn't you do that before? You could have done it.
Let's get a harm put through all of those ASAP, please. But then enter the EA-18G Growler as well. This might be the most dangerous aircraft in this war that nobody is talking about right now. And here's what it does. The Growler is a two-seat electronic warfare variant of the F-A-18F Super Hornet. Its entire mission in life is to find and blind enemy radar systems.
But hold up there. Isn't that all of them are 2 seats? Which one is only 1 seat? Is F-22 1 seat? Hold up there. Wait, wasn't Top Gun use F-18 because F-22 and F-35 was 1 seat? I don't know what that was. I remember like hearing about that. Like I remember thinking like, why did Top Gun Maverick use F-18 where they could have used F-22? And something like, okay, Tom Cruise needed an actual pilot. So F-22 doesn't have 2 seats. Is that what it is? I don't know.
Jam them into oblivion and uselessness, and then use AGM-88 HARM anti-radiation missiles to go right through the beam and just give them a little massage with that AGM-88. Give them a little deep tissue work as it strikes down and obliterates those actual radars themselves. It homes, it locks on, and then it goes right to the signal and strikes down any electronic warfare or radar sites. And this likely one of the main jets used in this situation. The Growler's loadout is likely 4 AGM-88 HARM anti-radiation missiles, an ALQ-249 tactical jamming system capable of flooding enemy frequencies across the entire electromagnetic spectrum, 2 AIM-120 AMRAAMs for self-defense, and then on the wingtips you can see it carrying an ALQ-218. That's a passive electronic support receiver that geolocates enemy radar emissions without transmitting a single watt, basically passively receiving any of those emissions. The Growler knows exactly where these radars are before the radar even knows it's being hunted. It's basically the king alpha predator against radar sites in the sky. And here's what the Qasem strike.
Yeah, predator is the right word for it, right? Like it's a scary thing. Like it's passive. It will just hunt you. If you shut it off, like it knows your location by GPS. If you enable it, like somehow that's it, like it will like hunt you down, seek you out.
Like almost certainly looked like from a tactical standpoint. The Growler enters the threat envelope, completely silent, completely passive, just listening and waiting. The IRGC air defense radar at Kashim activates to track the drone. The millisecond it transmits, the ALQ-218 geolocates it, the Growler fires, the harm homes in on the emission, and the radar site, boom, gone, just like that. And then the drone control station at Garak, now isolated, now blind, no protector, no longer talking to anything, receives a precision strike from a US fighter aircraft in the same package, likely an F-35. The two Iranian one-way attack drones that were already airborne and tracking ships in the waterway are neutralized, potentially by F-15Es carrying APKWS rockets, extremely capable laser-guided rockets. And the way that those work is the weapons systems officer in the back seat lasers those rockets onto the drone with a targeting pod, with a sniper targeting pod, and they just start plinking off these drones. Extremely capable to have that APKWS. And again, this is an advancement in military technology that some might say is a step back, but you got to meet the enemy where they are. If they're launching $30,000 one-way attack drones, these rockets actually cost about $25,000 each. So essentially the F-15E is making $5,000 with every drone. It's kind of like the F-15E goes up there and strikes down drones and it's just like making it rain with dollar bills. Dollar bills, y'all. And now you made it to the global roundup, my friends, so let's cover a few hard-hitting stories around the globe. First of all,
Yeah, I think the Lucas drone with Shield AI, that is the ultimate. I mean, what Ukraine is doing right now. Ukraine is intercepting drones with drones. I think Lucas is basically perfect. Was it your admiral or like who was it basically said during the Iran, like Lucas was instrumental. You're going to use Lucas going forward a lot. So to me, that makes sense. Lucas with Shield AI, or even without Shield AI, with just some basic targeting, you can use that as an interceptor against drones, right? Iron cuts iron type of thing. So Lucas drone hunting down Shahid makes sense.
America's Golden Dome, $185 billion shield, looks to be going live this summer. Anduril and Palantir are building the command and control software backbone for the $185 billion Golden Dome Missile Defense Initiative. It's a real-time network designed to link every radar, satellite, and interceptor in the U.S. arsenal into a single system capable of stopping ballistic missiles, cruise missiles, hypersonic missiles that are aimed at the U.S. homeland. Oh, and maybe some balloons. Can we make sure that it can actually take down balloons as well? That'd be great. For the next story, China is...
Don't want to use F-22 for that? Okay, I think it was Not What You Think channel. I didn't watch the video yet. Maybe I'll react to it, I don't know. But I saw the thumbnail like, why do you need a $1 trillion to stop only like 4, was it 4 or was it 3? Like something like that. 4 nuclear bombs. And I immediately knew what he was talking about. He's talking about the Golden Dome. Or I'm assuming, maybe I'm wrong. But I assume that's what it is. Like Golden Dome. I remember, it would take about $1 trillion for it. But the space interceptors, they're going to put it in space. You can only use 3 or 4 at a time. Because how it works, how the satellites work. And you can only intercept 4 missiles. I'm guessing that's what he's talking about there. I didn't watch the video yet. So you need $1 trillion, basically Golden Dome system. You need $1 trillion just to intercept 4 missiles. And I'm like, that's not the full picture, man, is it? You already have systems that can intercept ICBMs. This is just extra layer to it. Golden Dome isn't just about putting satellite and missiles on it or lasers on it, whatever you're trying to do. That is all element of it. You already have system that you're going to upgrade it and integrate it to it, right? Like THAAD, Patriot, Aegis. These systems can already intercept ICBMs, right? You demonstrated that way long ago, right? You can do it efficiently now. On top of it, you're adding a satellite layer to it. So just saying like this can only intercept 4 and you can 5th one will pass through. That's kind of not the truth, is it? And you have like Aegis systems sprinkled throughout the planet because of multiple carrier groups. So you can coordinate that as well if you want to defend something. Like somebody launches, let's say North Korea launches a nuke towards America. If there is like carrier system, which there is always near Japan, they can intercept it from there. And if they fail, like you have a multiple system between it. And not to mention you have already system near America. So there is way too many layers. America is the only country that can have systems like Aegis way far away from their mainland. They can defend their own mainland. It's the only country who can do it. So that's not really truth. That's what I'm saying.
Watching the Iran war and taking notes as they do. Beijing went 7 consecutive days without a single PLAAF sortie near Taiwan, which is very odd. This is the first pause and the longest pause in length that we've seen since 2022, but it's lining up exactly with America's engagement in Iran. China is either giving some diplomatic space to the US, or they're watching the carrier strike groups, basically watching and gathering up as much information as they possibly can with some latest breaking reports.
Or maybe the Computex just happened with NVIDIA, basically in Taiwan, which I guess China was, getting smuggled NVIDIA CPU light. Who knows? Maybe Jensen is the reason why it didn't happen. You have no idea the power of NVIDIA. Maybe that's the reason.
Saying that the F-15E that was shot down in Iran was likely shot down by a Chinese missile. I'm gonna do a full video on that. And then the third story is that there's reports of more shortages of US munitions. And here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do a full breakdown on that, but I'm gonna put it on Pepperbox. There's a link in the description. You can go to Pepperbox and you can actually get unique content that you can't find anywhere else. It's basically where I'm posting everything that I'm interested in that I can't post here. So pop to that link in the description, check out Pepperbox. You'll be very glad that you did. And again, there's exclusive, unique content over there that I think you'll love. And now that moves us to the 40 chess strategic analysis section. So Iran took down that drone deliberately, obviously, while a courier was physically in transit with a revised peace proposal. And then Iran fired ballistic missiles at Kuwait. This isn't military miscalculation. This is a message. The IRGC is telling Majab to Khamenei, and they're telling Washington that they, not the civilian government, are the authority that decides when this war ends and on what terms. They're protecting their fiefdom. They've gotten billions of dollars over the years by collecting off the Strait of Hormuz, and that is not something that they want to give up. And they see that nuclear weapon as the ultimate revolver to hold to the head of the world to try to keep extorting that international waterway. So if the Pezeshkian resignation report is accurate, even partially, it confirms what U.S. intelligence...
Dude, Iran getting nuclear weapons isn't something like holding a revolver. Any country getting nuclear weapon, fair enough. Other country have it, well, you can. The point here is their doctrine, their way of thinking. We're gonna nuke, we're gonna destroy, not nuke, we're gonna destroy Israel. Like, what are you gonna supposed to think based on that? Right? And some of you are like, yeah, but I'm not Israeli. Why do I care? No, that's just one step. Let's not forget about all the chants about America. So once Israel is gone, next, basically America or some other country that doesn't, align perfectly with their view. The point here is views. You want to get nukes, fair enough, a lot of countries have it. But your views are very extreme and you want to delete countries. Every other country has nukes because they want to use it as a deterrent. You're saying we're going to use it as a weapon, which is where the problem arises. This is one thing, people are always like, oh, isn't America aggressive right now? Isn't America wrong? Look at the why it's happening, man. How do you not see why it's happening? Iran is point blank saying we're going to use this indirectly, but we're going to use this as a weapon, while every other country is like, we're going to use it as a deterrent. So how is America supposed to let that go, right? You like, okay, we're fine with Israel burning, like you don't care about Israel, but what about after that? What about after that? How do you not know that Iran's not coming for your country? How do you know a country, if they are okay to use a nuclear bomb at certain other country, how do you not know they're going to continue doing that, right? Because if the doctrine is about that, like, okay, we're going to use this as a weapon, like that's it, nuclear fallout is coming. And not to mention, like, if one country uses it, every other country will use it as well out of fear. So this is like a chain reaction. World will burn. Nobody can use nuclear bomb. That's the point.
Intelligence has been watching for months. The IRGC has displaced the civilian government as Iran's real decision-making center, which means the people across the table from the US in these negotiations may not even be able to deliver and sign what they're sent. They want to outlast American political will, and they hope that at some point the US just pulls out and the IRGC can basically take full control over the country. It was always leading to that, and now it's becoming more and more clear that that's what the IRGC.
That could happen. I'm not going to put it past beyond American politics, but only reason I think that's not going to happen is Trump's term has just started. It's just been a year. 3 years is left. Is Iran going to stay there for next 3 years before Trump is like, maybe I'm not going to win third election if I'm going to run for it or not? And they do something else to appease the American public. Like, see, no war, we'll pull out of it. Trump has 3 years for that. Let's give him 2. Maybe last year is he has to like do damage control. 2 years is a long time. You're gonna be there for 2 years, Iran? Come on.
IRGC wants. So what do you think happens in the next couple of days? Do you think the IRGC seizes full control over Iran? Do you think the free people of Iran have any chance of an uprising in the near term? Let me know in the comments below. Would love to hear what you have to say.
IRGC already has control, man. I don't like who else have control in Iran. And as far as like uprising, I don't know, man. I don't know. At this point, I'll believe it when I see it, because I don't see it happening anytime soon. And what's gonna happen next? Again, I have no idea. I don't know how this is going. It felt like it was amplifying and they just stagnated. Now it's had as a baseline. It's staying at a baseline, but who knows? It might escalate. I don't know what's gonna happen. Maybe this is a slow game where US is like, Trump is literally saying that. Like, I'm just gonna stay here. I don't have to do anything. Trump is point blank saying it. I don't have to do anything. I'm just gonna stay here and wait it out. I can wait it out. He's saying that. So maybe USA will literally just like keep choking the economy with the blockade and not do anything else, just to see if Iran breaks or not. Who knows? All right, well, there you go. If you like what is on the subscribe, and I'll see you next time.